Hey, Alpha fam, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Commission. Today on Alpha Commission, I'm just going to do a special trading session for, of course, our Kadena followers. I myself have been in Kadena ever since it was approximately 36 cents, and then we got like 5,000 or 6,000% run up, and then it's just been dumping ever since. Luckily, I did sell around the mid 20s and then around $20 for the rest of my bag as this market turned around and as I gave very strong warnings to everybody in the market to get the heck out, right? And hopefully you took that advice and that you're not just holding your bags from the top of the market because the ideal way to go is to buy here and sell here, not to buy here and sell here. But if you are in the situation where you are holding your bags, or if you did pick up some new bags with me, rebuying into Kadena, either at these areas, which we traded up and down before saying, get the heck out over here, then maybe you picked up some bag with me around $1.50-ish, let's say, and we've just been trading the heck out of this pump. Now, if we do look at Kadena just using our good old EMA strategy, you can see that the squeeze to the upside was really down in this area where we did have kind of a fake out wick here, but overall we closed with a higher low and then yet another higher low, giving you, not only this drop over here, but let's just ignore that. Could be just a falling knife, right? You don't necessarily want to catch a lightning bolt to hell, but having, been able to see that bounce and then putting in something of a double bottom, that should have given you confidence to at least try to buy a little bit of Kadena. And then, of course, we did have not just that once, but twice, three times, four times to get into Kadena. And I've been encouraging you to get in that position ever since my friend Crypto Retta encouraged me to have a double check of this, asset. And then I just saw that, yeah. I mean, definitely, this was something that was ready to go. And with my confidence that I had in understanding macroeconomics and, of course, the Federal Reserve and all of those things that we've been talking about for months and months, I understood that there was a good likelihood that we were going to get a stocks pump off of this. And so I did stay in this trade, even though we did have a quite scary pullback in this area, which did shake out a lot of the market. And then we just rode this thing up for, I believe it was about a 45% play all the way to $2.20. And then what did I tell you in the last Kadena video? What did I tell you, Alpha Fam? I told you, wait for a pullback. Don't just dive into this thing because, first of all, the squeeze has already played out. Why would you jump into it until we have confirmation of a higher low? And we do seem to be putting in that higher low. The price that I suggested to get in at was approximately that 180 to 190 price. If not that, if we had broken down further, then perhaps that 165 to 175. And if it didn't hold there, then perhaps the bottom of the range would be retested, but that wouldn't be the most bullish look. And however, we did kind of grab that 180 area. I did buy at 180, and I told members in the group at the time. You can see the Discord link in the description of the video below. If you want to join us there, you can get some additional insights. And so we are up approximately 7%. Now, that trade actually happened twice, right? You can see this wick right here. And so it did put in a double bottom, which should have been a little bit of extra confirmation. So we got 7% there, and we're also 7% up again, right? Approximately 6% here, depending where you bought back in. And we do have, again, this kind of W being put in here, which did suggest that perhaps we could see a nice little pump. It doesn't mean we're going to necessarily go to an all-time high or anything like that, but was it a nice, 6, 7%? Heck yeah. And, if we do jump over to the 3-day, you can kind of see what's going on here is that we are setting ourselves up for a potential 3-day pump, which I guess that would put a target approximately at this $2.50, just by using our EMA strategy here. That would be a pretty reasonable target, maybe a little bit lower at 240 if you want to be humble about it, assuming that Bitcoin and Ethereum play along and that the stock markets play along, because right now this entire market is being led by stocks and Bitcoin and Ethereum, and if those things don't play well, then your Kadena play just isn't going to work out, guys. Okay, so just understand that whatever I'm saying here is really highly dependent on what happens on the Bitcoin chart. Now let's go ahead and just take a look at the structure that we have going on here. Let's see if I can get a perspective that actually makes sense. There we go. And so, our target zone, just to be reasonable, is this 240, assuming that we can break through these diagonals, which go all the way back up here. I've deleted them just to try to make the board look a little less sloppy, but of course we do have these big buy and sell zones. Right now, we've flipped our previous resistance. You see this? Resistance, resistance. This is where we've been selling and just making a ton of money, right? And so all of these were profit areas for us. These were our buy areas. You can see that there is this sloping line that is increasing. And if we do have a pullback all the way to $1.65, $1.70, I think that would be a pretty good place to buy. And if we do start breaking under that, and especially if we break under, a dollar, let's just say conservatively $1.35, and generously $1.50. If we break under that, then maybe we're looking at this $1.10, maybe 85-cent zone. Okay, if this market just takes a dump, then of course you're going to want to be considering to buy in at that $1.10 or perhaps 85-cent zone. And we should all wish for that because we're just going to have really nice trading with Kadena. Kadena is a good asset. I do believe it will be sticking around. It has a great community. And so that's why I have no problem promoting this coin. It's also, a medium-sized cap, to a large-sized cap coin. So it's not like we're, pumping it or pumping and dumping it or whatever. No matter what we do together as a group, it doesn't really change the outcome of Kadena. There's just too much money in it, and too many big players. But right now, again, we do have that overhead resistance. So pushing through that is not going to be easy. You can see, even though I didn't draw it out because I just don't want the board to be too messy, we are bumping our head into it right now. And we did temporarily break down under our bullish kind of higher low structure here. So this is a little bit of the concern, okay? The concern is that we broke down from these higher lows that we were putting in, and then we retested, the top here. This is why I knew to take profit here, okay, guys? So we broke down, we found support exactly where I said we'd find support, somewhere between $1.80 and $1.90. That was the first level to take, to consider support, right? Which just aligns with our previous support. That's really not surprising, right? So that's exactly where you would want to see that resistance flipping into support. That's quite bullish if this holds. And then, of course, we would just sell where our breakdown was along here, because, of course, you're just retesting the breakdown. Now, what happens after you retest a breakdown? Usually you break down again, so you want to sell your bag there, and most people would. But the fact that we put in a slightly higher low and this type of double bottom did suggest that we had another run, in our energy there. And so we did actually break out of this slope in that run, and that was quite bullish. So we broke through we were trapped, we're still trapped under this diagonal, But we were able to finally push through this diagonal, which we got stopped here, we got stopped here, we got stopped here, we got stopped here, right? Technically, we also got stopped here. And so it took like a whole bunch of times before we were able to push through this one. If you're wondering why Kadena has the shape that it does in terms of its price action, it's because of all these diagonals that it has on its chart. It's just, its chart is just so tall and so massive, right? It just has so many different levels and so many different diagonals that you could draw on it. And all of those things are taken into account by the bots and the algorithms, okay? And so they really do consider those things as diagonal resistances and diagonal supports. And so we have to bust through them in order to get to the next levels. Not only our horizontals, but also those diagonals come into play. And you can see exactly where my diagonal red line is right here, right? This one extends all the way to the top of the chart. We're getting a little bit of a rejection right there right now. So that would suggest that if you had been part of this pump, with me, then you would probably want to take your profit there. If you were part of this pump with me, then you would have wanted to take your profit there. And who knows, maybe we come back down here, try again, push through, maybe we get up to here, and then perhaps we take our profit somewhere around $2, right? If we just get rejected, then we might just break it down further, and then we would be talking about that $1.75, $1.65 area as possibly the next bouncy, point. We do have a little bit of bounces, in that area, and so it's just possible that we're changing the mid range down there into some type of support, especially as this curve is moving up, right? This kind of diagonal here is moving up, and that would be bullish, but we can't really depend on it. So there is a good chance that we could actually fall down to this $1.60 area. Just want to give some type of realistic expectations for you guys because the market is quite dicey. And if we do push up, then, obviously that kind of $2 area is going to be pretty resistant for us. We do have this, these type of wicks and this type of bounce up here. So this is support. It can turn into resistance. And so again, like $2 is probably the next take profit point before some type of pullback. If we do just go ahead and look at our indicators here, we are seeing some bullish divergence has played out. We do see our oscillators pointed in an upward direction on the 1 hour. Let's go ahead and jump to the 4 hour, see how we're doing. Okay, the MACD is turning up. We've got a drive of bullish divergence building up here, and that's really good because that could suggest that this next move might have a little bit of thrust to it, right? On the 4 hour, we do have the oscillators freshly turning up on the 4 hours. So this next 4 hours could actually be quite good. And you do see the Stokes pointing in an upward direction. This might be a corrective move. It might not be like pushing towards an all-time high or anything like that. But as long as we're over a dollar, let's say $1.90, right? $1.90, then hopefully we can maintain that upward direction. And if we fall under $1.87, then probably you might want to cut your losses, right? At least for the next 4 hours. If you happen to be watching this right now, for our money flow and our ADX, we are just chopping around. So this does suggest some muddiness in the charts. I really would want this green line to just be rocketing and this pink line to be rocketing, and then Kadena might start rocketing, right? But as long as we're just kind of like meandering under this white line, I mean, it's really just suggesting consolidation. So the fact that we're getting any type of pump at all is kind of a blessing, and it may just be a reaction to that double bottom. So you do want to watch out. However, of course, we do have, various other indicators suggesting that there could be a bit of a push, and also that developing hidden bullish divergence could be something interesting to watch out for if you did want to just take a chance. Some of our volatility is building up to the upside. And let's see here, although it, again, like it may be a corrective move, we do have a fairly substantial amount of this move to left to play out, which would suggest, yeah, maybe a little bit more push. And I've literally been watching this since planning this video. around $1.88. I literally have watched it just push up 3%. So again, if you're using leverage, that's pretty good. I don't know where you can leverage Kadena. If you're using leverage, that could be quite an outstanding move just by itself. And it does seem to at least want to go. Once you take out this kind of wick here and some of these highs, then that could be interesting for continuation. So let's look at some of the higher time frames. Let's look at the 8 hour here. Actually, we do have a softening MACD. We do have another drive of hidden bullish divergence. Not much going on the money flow and ADX. And I would suggest, let's see, yeah, the daily is a little bit more of a mixed bag. Uh, yeah, I think, mm, yeah, maybe the daily is kind of the limitation of this. It is a little bit overheated on our volatility there. We do have, mm, yeah, I'm just. Yeah, it's a little bit toppy there on the daily. So the daily is just not ready yet. I can't really call the daily, but let's see. Yeah, 16 hour, not the best. 12 hour, still a little toppy. So really, 8 hours, mm, a little bit of bearish divergence here. Not sure which one's going to win out. But yeah, at least for perhaps the next 6 hours, we can be fairly optimistic. And hey, maybe those lower time frames will bleed into the upper time frames and get a little bit of a stretch out of this. So I don't really want to call anything here. I didn't call, getting in at $1.80. Of course, last video I did suggest that you could perhaps take a chance in that $1.80 to $1.90 region because we were likely to find some support there, flipping this resistance into support, which would be very bullish. But how far could we pump from there? Just not sure. This thing may want to chop it out. And you can see with Kadena, I mean, you can just see it pretty easily. This thing likes to just fully retrace, okay? Like if you can just draw these big triangles, it likes to fully retrace. So if we do come down to that dollar 65 area-ish, don't be too surprised. Even if we're maintaining a bullishness, this thing could drop down to $1.65. Let's see at the lower time frames, what would it take to basically kill our momentum here? Under $1.92 on the 6 hour, $1.87 on the 4 hour. Let's see the 1 hour, $1.86, $1.87 on the 1 hour. So yeah, between $1.87 and $1.92, it could get a little bit dicey. You might end up having pressure to the downside, especially the closer you are to that resistance. But there is a chance to push out here. And also, you can see, look, look at this diagonal right here, and then you're building a new candle right on top of that diagonal. So, this thing really wants to try whether or not it has enough energy to do it. Not sure yet, but we did get a couple of good 7% trades there. Again, if you were part of the group or if you were part of that discussion, I did mention it in a live chat in the group. So, guys, feel free to click that link to the Discord and join up and just talk. You guys can make it kind of like a little Kadena group if you like. I'm not that big on altcoins right now just because we are in the bear market. but some things just do have nice plays to them. So I won't be recommending to necessarily hodl anything because we just don't know how long the bear market could last or what unexpected things could happen in the economy. And so I just want to always emphasize the massive amount of risk that comes along with trading any of these assets. But there's your Kadena update for the day, and also your alpha for the day. So stay safe and happy trading.